Alright, what is happening internet? J Gaming Dude here, and this is my review, whether I like to admit it or not, of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, and as usual, gotta show the gaming credentials right here. Earned the platinum for both the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game, and wow. So, Chapter 1 I thought was, like, fine, I guess. Chapter 2, also fine. Both of them were kind of equal to me in a sense, because while Chapter 2 had more content than Chapter 1, it was like I just didn't enjoy it. Chapter 3 was the strongest of the lot, but it had too many bugs and glitches and was kind of annoying at times. It at least had some couple of good sections here and there. Chapter 4, on the other hand, boy, do I have not much to say about this, because I do not like Chapter 4 at all. It's probably around the same length as Chapter 3. A lot of the game does involve a lot of lore dumping on you. There is a lot of standing around listening to characters speak in order for them to insert more story, which, yes, I did kind of want more story in the game, but by adding more story in the game, it made the game buggier, glitchier. When you try to hold on to certain items using your various hands, it doesn't pick certain things up. What else have we got? The story isn't particularly great either. The chases aren't great. The fact that there is still more puzzles than there is story is still just kind of really annoying. The fact that there are bugs and glitches at all in the game really ruin really ruin the idea of doing like a perfect run, for example. So you might be like, okay, why on earth would you try and do a perfect run? Basically because there are achievements in the game for it. So say, for example, there is the two achievements from Chapter 3 do make a return. The No Death, which has been around since Chapter 2. So Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4. Beat the game without dying. That's been there for a while. Chapter 3, on the other hand, introduced the idea of completing the game without using your grab pack more than 200 times. And because the grab pack is a huge part of the game, and basically everything you do is, revolves around using the grab pack, it, well, let's put it this way. It requires you to play the game in a way where you need to, complete it without dying, especially if you're going for both achievements at the same time, but also do it in the minimal amount of uses of this main mechanic. So basically that's the idea of playing through the game basically perfectly, or the idea of playing through it perfectly. At least there's no speedrun achievement like there is in Chapter 2, where you have to beat the game in under 45 minutes, because it's very difficult to be able to tell how long you've actually been playing the game for, except that the game time on your save data was only introduced in Chapter 3, I think. I want to say it was Chapter 3 that introduced it. But it feels like it's been so long since I played Chapter 3 to the point where I've just kind of personally forgotten myself. Anyway, Chapter 3 did add a few new hands, like the gun hand, for example, or the purple hand for jumping on different platforms and junk. Actually, no, the purple hand I think was in Chapter 2. I actually cannot remember when the purple hand was introduced. You know what? That's actually pretty interesting. So yeah, with all that being said, though, I still don't like this game. I actually like it less than Chapter 3. How does it compare to Chapter 1 and 2? I care so little about both of those chapters that I really just don't know what to say about it. I just care very little about everything that's going on. The events, the story. At this point, I think I'm only just doing it for completionist's sake at this point. So I do feel like the reason why content around Poppy's Playtime does well on YouTube, at least from what I've noticed, is that it largely has to do with Chapter 1 and 2. Chapter 3 and 4, at this point, now revolve around this level of apathy being made around the series. And I absolutely understand there being apathy around it, because even I'm getting kind of tired of just playing the games. The games aren't even that long, all things considered. I've spent no more than a week playing the game across 2 different platforms and redoing everything across them in basically no less than around 4 playthroughs of each of these games. So I don't know, man, like there's just stuff here where I'm like, I kind of get like not wanting to be into it and not enjoying it. I feel like the t-shirt designs that I saw on the Poppy Playtime website look a lot cooler than what the games could ever end up being moving forward from this point. But like I said, I digress. The new villains, chases and stuff just don't make too much sense. Stuff like Yanabe is an absolute bloody nightmare to deal with. I honestly hate the guy for how annoying his chase is, which revolves around a lot, and especially doing it without dying. My god, I absolutely hate Yanabe with a passion in this game. The boss fight against Dowie is fine, I guess. That is a bit of a spoiler. He does come off as like a really nice guy. You join his crew. He helps you out a lot, but eventually you do need to fight him because of all the stuff that happens with the doctor, with this other stuff that's going on, helping Poppy, listening to everyone, where your loyalties lie and stuff like that. All seems like cool ideas. It's just that it took too long to get there, and the apathy for the series is really settling in my opinion. I am just incredibly tired of playing through the game, playing through the different games, and of course being introduced to characters like the Doctor here, for example, or Dowie, or just other things like that. But with all of that being said, I sound a lot more negative on the game than I actually am. In fact, I'm so 5 out of 10 about the whole series, everything that the games. Maybe I could say that maybe if I were to change any of them, I would say 1 is a 5 out of 10, chapter 2 is a 5 out of 10, chapter 4 I think is a 4 out of 10 because I genuinely do think it's worse than 1 and 2 put together, and 3 is like a 6 out of 10. It's also middling and fine, but a lot of what I would criticize about a game, I'm very not all that critical of, because I can't get myself to even bloody care about the game. So that's why I'm so apathetic and just kind of middle of the road about the game as it is at the moment. But that is basically my review of the game. I don't really like any of these games. I think that they're all just content to be consumed. I cannot bring myself to actually care. The games don't feel particularly fun. The story, okay, these games have a story when you put it together, but the problem is that the story just doesn't matter in the long run. Even if you do understand, you're better off not understanding. That would be more beneficial to you than trying to understand. The story segmented in weird ways that make absolutely no sense as to why certain aspects are as short as they are. The entire games themselves are quite short. What certain chapters do well, other chapters do poorly. It's just a mixed up grab bag of random bits and pieces thrown in here in order to make up for the fact that most of these games are just first person games that are supposed to be of the horror genre but isn't particularly scary, because the worst thing that happens to you is you get a jump scare, and those jump scares basically represent death in the game. I don't know. I just really don't know what to say, what to do, how to describe anything, because it really just is what it is. But with all of that being said though, normally also with these reviews, I don't mute the audio, but I did this time around just to kind of avoid any sort of characters kind of droning on and on, or story just kicking in for no reason, because again, I'm just so bored and apathetic to the story that I just really don't know what to say. But with all of that being said though, let me know what you guys think about Poppy's Playtime, because at the end of the day, I don't genuinely believe anyone cares that's watching on my channel. Again, I'm just reviewing these games post-platinum because I did play through them. I do have thoughts. I just really don't know what to say about these ones in particular. But I have started kind of, reviewing games that have platinum, so there's no reason why I wouldn't talk about these ones as well in particular. But with all of that being said though, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. With all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.